Damn, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think what's really going to be sorry is my upholstery on that chair.
You might want to, yeah, we should probably pause real quick because you don't want to let this seep into the upholstery at all.
Oh, yeah, or the carpet underneath.
Or the oh, yeah, no, it's too late. It's too late. Just leave it.
Gosh, you had a blowout there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not getting a deposit back. I'm sorry.
Looks like you spilled a bunch of beef gravy.
Well, what's funny is that's actually what went in.
Oh,
and it just came out completely the same, which I feel is a medical
au jus yesterday.
Yeah, which I feel is a medical problem.
Yeah.
It just looks exactly the same as it did. That's I'm supposed to do that.
No, probably not. What's going on, Donkey Kong? That's your new nickname.
Hells yeah.
Because you got a mustache.
Because Donkey Kong is famous for his mustache.
He certainly is. Or his opponent, Mario, is famous for it. So
yeah, it's true.
It's like sarcastically calling you Donkey Kong because it'd be like calling you Bowser.
Yeah, it's like how you call like a fat guy Slim or like a big guy Shorty.
Right. Yeah. I'm calling you by. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Donkey Kong?
Yeah.
I can live with it.
Cool. Yeah.
How are you doing, Britt?
I'm doing Donkey Kong delicious, baby.
Donkey Kong delicious.
Like that's my favorite flavor of ice cream. How about you?
Did they ever make a Donkey Kong ice cream?
Yeah.
It's sort of like the little. Well, I guess we'll talk about this later, but the ice cream pops you get, from the ice cream men.
Mm-hmm. We're not going to talk about that in this episode.
No, we won't.
No.
In another one, just like those little things that came with the gumballs.
Oh yeah.
Gumball eyes, which I feel like gum and ice cream is the worst combination you can possibly make.
I mean, I feel like the bubblegum ice cream is pretty good.
Bubblegum flavored ice cream, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But like ice cream with bubblegum pieces.
That's pretty good. Like the one I think they have at Baskin Robbins has bubblegum pieces in it, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, but but gum is not meant to be swallowed.
That's a lie. It depends on the gum. Like Big League Chew is meant to be swallowed. Bubble tape is meant to be swallowed.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't digest.
Yes, it does.
No.
It's just like everything else.
No,
that shit where it like stays in your stomach for 7 years, it's a fucking old wives' tale. That's unscientific. It goes through like everything else.
I'm gonna go swallow an entire packet of gum.
Do it.
And I'll report back.
I mean, you're not gonna feel great because
gum.
It's a lot of gum, and that's a lot of like kind of
but
like
it
hard
digests like
material.
everything else.
It goes through like everything else. It doesn't like digest, and you don't get nutrients from it or anything because it's all like fucking gum.
Yeah.
Like when you like consume xanthan gum, like that part I don't think digests through you.
No, but I don't think you're supposed to swallow gum. It's meant to be spit out.
It depends on the gum.
This is going to take further research.
You can swallow anything and you'll be fine. And I mean not anything, but it's food safe to swallow gum. It's not going to kill you.
That's a condition. If you like, I don't know if you've seen the movie Swallow. That's a really good movie.
No.
Oh, you should. It's really good.
Okay.
Swallow.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a woman. Yeah, she's like going through some stuff, so she's just like swallowing dangerous objects.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
I was
surprised. I was surprised. I thought it was just going to be straight up body horror,
Mm-hmm.
and I came out of it thinking like really like touched by it. It was a really good movie.
Yeah, I used to be a caregiver in group homes, and there was a guy there named Al who had pica, where you just try to put like everything in your mouth and you try to eat everything, and he tried to eat anything, man.
That rocks.
Like anything, like his toys, like pens that were sitting around, his fork, like you couldn't leave like anything near him. It was phenomenal.
Sort of like a goat.
Yeah, he was pretty goaty. Yeah, he is somewhere between. He acted somewhere between like a goat and a dog. He was reactive in a really sweet way towards things.
Come on, eat the can.
He did a lot of this noise.
Oh, I wish I had a can to eat.
Yeah, he was a cool guy. I liked Al.
Pica is usually like a sign of an iron deficiency.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just injected him full of iron.
Yeah.
And just make sure he doesn't eat laundry detergent or something, or cans.
Yeah, but by that, do you mean you want to come in an Iron Man costume and quote unquote
inject him full of iron?
All right, time for your iron.
Time for your iron injection, baby boy. Here's your iron supplement. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. We're off to a running start here.
Yeah. But yeah, there's none of that in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just like there's no like people eating cans or like sexually violating people who have iron deficiency.
And let's hope not.
Let's hope not.
No, that would be a weird plot point, and also that's a thing that shouldn't happen in real life.
No,
that's a bad thing.
It is a bad thing.
No, and although we make light of it,
yeah,
it's dark subject matter.
Dark times.
We got
the
call
movie
it.
starring Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Jimothy Carey.
Jimathan Carrey.
Jimathan John Carey.
Did you ever watch that Dark Times movie?
No.
Or Dark Things, or what was it called? It was like
I don't think it was Dark Times.
Yeah, Dark something, but yeah, it's where it's his
Dark Mark.
Dark Mark. It's where he's playing like a sort of like a role that he plays very seriously, and I saw one clip of it, and it was like him trying to be a very serious badass was funnier than anything he's ever done in my life, and I've ever seen. It was great.
I mean, he used to be like on the cutting edge of comedy.
Yeah, he was.
Let's be honest. Like in the 80s, like he was doing some like impression shit that was like kind of next level.
Oh yeah, like that movie Once Bitten. Like I think it's his
Once
first
Bitten
film.
rocks. Yeah.
Yeah, his dance scene in Once Bitten. I was thinking about that the other day. It randomly popped in my head while I was working. Like his whole dancing when he was at the prom or whatever towards the end is incredible. It's like he moves like a human isn't supposed to.
Yeah, honestly, if you want to see a great performance in a comedy film that isn't a great comedy film, watch 1994's The Mask.
Oh yeah, I love Mask.
I fucking love The Mask. Jim Carrey puts in a powerhouse performance in that. I honestly think it's one of his best roles in one of his kind of more mediocre films.
Yeah.
I think also The Cable Guy is criminally underrated.
Yeah, I love Cable Guy.
He puts in a fantastic performance in that.
He does a cappella version of Amok Time.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
That scene is so fucking funny.
Yeah.
It's at a medieval times too, which I love.
Yeah, it is the now unionized medieval times.
Oh, and medieval times unionized?
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, nice, good for them.
Yeah, they're on strike. I want to say Tom Morello showed up to their strike.
That's funny.
Played a set.
He's like, instead of like, he goes, instead of playing his bass, he goes, or the guitar, he just goes and plays a lute. Since medieval times.
Like Sting.
Yeah. God, that like a medieval times protest or strike would be pretty awesome. Just like also have like the Falconer has his falcon there, and the falcon's wearing like a t-shirt.
Oh yeah,
pro union t-shirt,
dripped out pro union.
Yeah. He has his, like, that dripped out Teamster jacket on, like the Falcon does.
Hell
like
yeah.
Falcon size one, that'd be awesome.
I love birds with jackets. They don't love it because it restricts their movement.
They can't fly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought that was weird. I've been to medieval times like a couple times.
Oh, you have? I'm very envious. I've always wanted to go.
You've
to
never
medieval
gone?
times. Never gone.
Oh my God!
I've driven past there a couple times in LA. Never gone though.
Oh, absolutely, you should go.
Yeah, and I know there's like several throughout the country. Did you go to the one? Is there one near Baltimore? Or?
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
I've been to that one. I think twice. Yeah, it's like there's one in a mall. I've been to another one too. Yeah, like
how's the experience?
it's pretty fun. They also have like they don't really have a vegan option. They had a vegetarian option. You have to say like, oh yeah, I'm vegetarian. It's like a veggie lasagna with Alfredo sauce. It was pretty good, and like they give you like a little because yeah, pretty much everyone eats the same thing. You know, that makes it easy.
Yeah.
But
so
yeah,
is it just like giant turkey leg?
yeah, they got the they give you the turkey leg unless you specify you want the vegetarian option. And so yeah, every time I went, I always got the vegetarian option.
Right,
it was pretty good. And then you have, I think you can only get like 2 refills of soda, or unless you want beer. And yeah, it's pretty fun. You know, you get to.
I love that you remember their fucking rules about refills.
Yeah.
That's like one of the things you remember about the experience is, oh, they cut me off after 2 soda refills, and I was kind of miffed.
I was kind of miffed. I was like, I want more. I'm thirsty as fuck. And like, but I still go. And then afterwards is really fun because you get to cheer for your dude. And like then afterwards they have like the medieval times rave where the falconer goes, and the falconer is just hanging out with his falcon because they always have a falconer. And you can go and hang out, and you have a little dance party, and like the falconer guy's just standing there with his falcon. You can go up and say hi to the falcon.
Sir. That's pretty fucking cool, dude. Is there a glory hole?
You know what? I don't know. There probably is. I mean, obviously, it's been more than 10 years since I've gone because, like, I haven't been back since I've been vegan. But, like, you know what? Things may have changed. There may be a glory hole, where you get to tip.
The old glory hole. Step right up, partner.
Where it's just like you can choose to tip your performer, and, you can either, like, Venmo them cash, or they can step behind a partition that has a hole in it, and you can, tip them, if you catch my drift.
Oh, yeah. Yes. The Queen's entry, as they call it.
Because who's ever on the other side is the queen. For a day. Queen for a day.
As far as I'm concerned, it's the Queen on the other side.
The queen on the other side. Oh, yeah.
That's what I think about when I go to the glory hole. Is I think about Queen Elizabeth.
Close your eyes and think of England.
Keep calm and carry on.
Yeah. So yeah, you know what? It might be good. You should go. I think you'd have a fun time.
I think I would definitely have a great ass time.
But gotta remember the soda refill, so you gotta sneak in your own. You gotta sneak in your own. Diet Pepsi.
I honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad you said that. I honestly,
see, you mocked me for it.
I honestly would be a little miffed.
Yeah, see,
I drink a lot of fucking soda, man.
Yeah.
I got 2 bevies right here.
I know. That's why I said something. You know what? You're gonna thank me. You're gonna make sure you bring like a long jacket where you can have a couple like half liters of Diet Pepsi.
This is what the cake song. I want a girl in a short skirt and a long jacket.
Yeah.
That's what this is about.
Yep. Sneak in large bottles of Diet Pepsi into medieval times.
I want a girl that'll sneak large bottles of Diet Pepsi into medieval times. Medieval times.
Yeah. No, see, yeah, good to know. You should go. I think you should make plans to go soon. I think you'll have a great time, unless they're still striking.
Yeah. In which case, I'm gonna cross the picket line and go perform my one-man medieval show.
I don't know if you want like the scab falconer. I think the scab falconer is going to be really bad at his job.
He just has like a fucking homing pigeon. He's like, no, it's a type of falcon. Don't worry.
He just has a whole bunch of claw marks all over his face because he can't control the bird.
They're the raptors. You can't really control them. Isn't that your job? Yeah.
More or less. I answered a ad on
Craigslist.
Craigslist, you know. I lied. I said I had 10 years of falconering experience. Yeah, and you can watch a child get its eyes clawed out.
You never want to get the fucking person who lied on their application as a falconer.
No.
You never really want to get the scab falconer.
No, don't get the scab falconer. Wait until medieval times, settles their labor dispute and then go. And
Hell yeah.
then you can feel good about supporting like our honest, hardworking falconers.
We love to hear it.
Yeah.
You know what else we love to hear? We have a Patreon. Let's go through that real quick. Patreon.com/dumbidiotbs. It's patreon.com/dumbidiotbs for $2 a month. Little as $2 a month. Or actually, you can subscribe for free if you want, I guess, now.
Yeah.
You can do that. You should do that so you can vote in the poll and decide on what you can watch. And,
you know what? I like having the other people decide.
oh, yeah. You do. Or at least so you can see and so you don't have to ask me every week.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Yeah, there's that too. So for as little as free, you can vote on what we watch every week. You can also suggest media that we watch every week, which is how we're doing this episode today. It's voted on by people.
Oh, yeah.
For as little as $5 a month, we say thank you to people just like Dylan Lance, Jordan Hale, David Craning Sites, D. Gursky, Jormore, Tim Wilkinson, Sam Mayo, Kyle Simmons, PJ Hale, Shane Sawyer, Gillian McCrary, SFC Punk, Roberto Molina, 7 of 9, James Hartman, Anna Conklin, Iggy, Abigail Simpson, John Simcox, Shane Williams, and Roberto Yolito, Electric Baphomet, Jonah Hearn, and Nick Savard. Thank you to all those people for your patronage. It really rocks.
Yeah, y'all are awesome.
Yeah, you are. We got, for as little as $10 a month, you get access to
The Media Dungeon.
what have you been watching recently on the Media Dungeon?
I've been watching a lot. Like I think what's it on Thanksgiving? I watched a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I saw you watched
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I watched Mrs. Doubtfire. I was like, I haven't seen Mrs. Doubtfire in a minute, and because I think it's like a funny concept. It was also like I also watched The Birdcage. I don't know if I watched it on
The Birdcage. Like fucking Robin Williams is actually like pretty adept at like both gay and drag.
Yes, yeah,
which is kind of interesting.
It was funny that both those movies came out and like very early on. It's kind of like how
you think Robin Williams was trans?
No, I just think
I think Robin Williams was trans.
You know what? That's your headcanon. Like
Robin Williams is trans.
But I was just thinking like how interesting it is to see how like our culture has kind of devolved where it's just like if those movies had come out today there'd be like such an uproar because like especially Mrs. Doubtfire he has like a gay brother and like who has a long-term partner and like when like his kids are just like how did you pull this off? He's just like oh Uncle Harvey and Aunt Jack, and just kind of like, and the kids are like, oh, of course,
right?
And it's just like, and there's like already an acceptance of
it's like privileged gay couples are able to like do things that
just like it was able. This is able to come out and just like normalize homosexual relationships, in a very passing way because it wasn't like dwelled on and like the kids are just like accept that and it's like now like if we had that scene released now it would just be like a nonstop discussion online about it. Yeah. Just be like,
I mean, the media cycle goes pretty fast.
Yeah, it does. But I just thought that was interesting. Like especially after it was a Birdcage, I thought that was
Birdcage is fun in its own way.
Yeah,
it's very camp.
Yeah, I hadn't watched it in a really long time, and actually, the reason I watched Birdcage is because I had watched it with my parents when I was very young. Yeah. And then I remember my dad saying like
you probably thought it was about a falconer.
About a falconer. But there was one scene though, my dad's nuts. Like there's one scene where Robin Williams' son where Robin Williams is like, I'm straight passing, and then like Robin Williams' son like rubs a finger on his face and then rubs the finger on the wall to show that he's wearing foundation.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, my dad was like, he's rubbing cum off of his face.
That's legit funny though.
I know.
That's legit fun. I don't care who you are. That's funny right there.
And then when I was a kid, I was just like, what? And then and for some reason, I grew up thinking like that is the scene that he does rub cum off of his face. And like as I tell, like I think 10 years ago, I watched like Birdcage again. Like I also went through because like Birdcage is also a remake of a trilogy of French films called The Cage of the Falls, and like there's a whole trilogy where they do like all these crazy adventures where they get involved in spycraft and stuff. It's really fun.
Okay.
But like but yeah, I remember watching that scene again. I'm like, oh, it's Foundation. Like for some reason that was in the back of my head that he always had been rubbing cum off of his face.
Yeah, that's Isaac Asimov's Foundation.
yeah. He's like, oh, my dad said that when I was a kid, so I just thought that's what it was.
Oh, wild.
Yeah.
Just
shows where my dad's.
That's funny as fuck, though.
Just shows where my dad's mind was.
Right. Come. Why the come off his face?
These two men are just sucking dick all the time.
I wish like every scene, just like when anyone, like someone drinks something, it's like he's drinking cum.
Yeah.
Someone's brushing their teeth. Brushing them with cum.
Brushing it with cum.
Yeah. Someone's outside like smoking a cigarette. Smoking some cum.
Yeah, I thought about that weird interaction that my dad said when I was a kid, and I was like, oh, I haven't watched Birdcage in a while.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, and then there's so Media Dungeon has fucking 1,300 shows now, which is more than Netflix.
Oh, nice.
More shows than Netflix, baby.
Fuck Netflix.
Yeah,
honestly,
like
fuck Netflix.
6 times as many movies as Netflix. Like I've got a fucking library, baby.
Yeah.
The Library of Alexandria.
I'm really glad I deleted my Netflix account, especially since they came out with that the live action Squid Game.
Oh,
which
yeah,
is so incredibly tone deaf.
Yeah, it is. It's like they didn't watch the original series.
No, it's like it's not a good thing to have this. It shows it's really highlighting a complete failure in our system, where we just have these people that are so in debt and so desperate that they'll enter this kind of competition to not be in debt.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's highlighting social failure, not like something to be celebrated or recreated in a new way. And it's just sick.
I feel like as a vegan, you're also opposed to the exploiting of squids. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't want my squids exploited.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't want my falcons exploited either. I think those falcons should be getting like all of like
or the falconer.
Or the falconer and his falcon. They should be getting what they want.
Their falcon.
Their falcon.
You're just like gonna.
I just gendered the falconer.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry.
The falcon them.
The falcon them.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we love our falconers.
We do.
Of all genders, and the falcons of all genders, and the falcons and the falconer should be getting their fair share.
Yeah. Anyway, so patreon.com/dumbidiotbs, dumbidiotbs, dumbidiotbs, dumbidiotbs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all should. There's a lot of goodies there.
Yeah, and you can sign up for free, but maybe consider supporting us monetarily.
Yeah, you know what?
It helps.
And also got the bumper stickers made for the merch tier.
Oh yeah, you did. We're gonna have some fun bumper stickers coming.
Yeah, only for the merch tier people.
Only for the merch tier people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe I got the blanks coming in for the merch tier.
Nice.
In a couple days.
Hells yeah.
Monday. 3 days, 4 days. I don't know.
Yeah,
Shipping's a lot.
Today, Thursday? Oh yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't matter.
It's been holiday season's kind of weird. I just feel like I've been in a daze.
Yep. Holidays, got them.
I ate too many potatoes and I feel sick all the time.
Yeah, well, that's what you get for eating too many potatoes, my friend. That's what it feels like to be Irish.
It is, yeah. I made like a giant batch of some of the best mashed potatoes I ever had in my life, made in my life, and I was just like, I was vibing with them, and then like I purposely made a huge ton. I'm like, I'll get through this, and then I think by day 2 or 3, I was just like, I don't want to.
Sick of potatoes. Yeah,
I was so sick of them, but I ate them all.
It's at that point you gotta like make them into like popsicles, put them in the fridge, and then boof them.
Hand them to kids on the street. Hey Hey, kids,
No,
here's some ice cream.
You gotta boof them.
Gotta boof them.
You gotta boof them. You gotta boof them potatoes. Baby.
Yeah, absorb. You know that you can absorb nutrients through your anal walls,
Especially potatoes.
especially potatoes.
That's what it feels like to be Irish.
Yeah, that's what the Irish had to do. They got sick of potatoes too.
Yeah,
They
so they had to
start-
boof them.
Yeah, they mashed them up, stick them in your ass,
Yep.
bake them, boil them, stick them up your ass.
Bake them, boil them, stick them up your ass. Okay, so today we watched Star Trek TNG episode 15 from season 3, Yesterday's Enterprise. And the Patreons voted on this, so thank you, everyone.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, indeed. So this episode first aired on February 19th, 1990. It is the 62nd episode overall of TNG and the 169th episode overall of Star Trek.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This one is written by the fucking dream team. It's written by Ira Stephen Bear.
Oh, really?
Who we know as the guy who was like the showrunner for the last 4 seasons of DS9, the best 4 seasons of DS9. Also Richard Manning and Hans Beimler, and Ronald D. Moore, who were writers who, between the 3 of them, wrote well over 100 Star Trek episodes. So this is just a motherfucking dream team. And then it is directed by David Carson, who you might know is the director of 4 episodes of TNG and 4 episodes of DS9, including Emissary, Dax, and Move Along Home.
And son of Johnny Carson.
Yeah, no. I think most infamously, though, he is the director of Star Trek Generations.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's correct.
You know what? They can't all be winners.
They can't all be winner, winner, chicken dinner, and that certainly was not a winner, winner, or a chicken dinner.
No.
Or a dinner otherwise. It was not even a meal.
It was a dinner of poo.
Yeah, it was. It tasted a little bit, like that. So let's jump right in. Worf is sitting alone in 10 forward, and Guinan comes over to his table and hands him a glass. What is it?
Prune juice.
Motherfucking prune juice. He sips it and calls it a warrior's drink.
Which makes sense that Ronald D. Moore was attached to this episode, because this is setting up more Klingon lore.
Yeah, and Ronald D. Moore fucking loves Klingons, baby.
Yep, yeah,
he writes so many Klingon episodes.
Yep, this is like the beginning of a beautiful relationship of Worf and prune juice.
Hell yeah. So,
which prune juice is fucks. I love prunes. I think they're great.
So, Guinan notes that Worf always drinks alone and could use some companionship. Definitely talking about fucking. Worf says he would need a Klingon woman for companionship because Earth females are too fragile. And Guinan tells him there's some women aboard who might be able to tame him, and he laughs. Yeah. And one of the few times we actually see Worf smile.
Yeah.
In like the entire series.
Yeah. I really like this moment because it's like one of those moments in Star Trek I really cherish, like these very human, just like exchanges of just people, just like a normal conversation someone would have, and it deals so much. It's just like expanding just who that character is, and it's just a very quiet moment between 2 people. It's like those kind of things I love about Star Trek. Right,
and it's not like setting up much of anything, but it does like expand lore, and sometimes it does set up recurring things like Worf loving prune juice.
Yeah, Worf loving prune juice,
which is a very cute thing that is like referenced in several scripts thereafter, not just by Ron D. Moore, but also by Ron D. Moore. Yeah, as we saw in what was it, Looking for Parmok in All the Wrong Places. Yeah. Ronald D. Moore once again references Worf drinking prune juice, and it's funny.
And also like the violent nature of Klingon lovemaking.
Yes, absolutely.
Which definitely comes in play a lot throughout Trek.
Yeah. So just then, a strange phenomenon appears outside 10 Forward's windows, and Worf is called to the bridge. Guinan stands up and looks towards the phenomenon and utters, "No." She's like, "No.
No.
So So Worf arrives on the bridge and is told that the Enterprise D has encountered what appears to be a temporal rift in space. The crew are unable to confirm exactly what and precisely where the phenomenon is. Worf reports a change in sensor readings. Picard turns his back on Worf and asks Data for more information, and Riker's also like chatting this whole thing and being like, what do you mean? And shit. As a starship emerges from the rift, the bridge of the Enterprise changes suddenly. It now appears much darker, and the crew's uniforms have like more of a militaristic look, I guess. They look a little bit like a cross between regular Starfleet and like Mirror Universe Starfleet.
Yeah, I was thinking, they do look, but like they're not very Mirror Universe like. They're not evil. Not
really, but they have like these weird belts that have like phasers attached to them and stuff.
They're more, but they're definitely more hyper militaristic. And
yeah, for reasons though. Yeah. So no one seems aware of the changes. Picard turns to the tactical station and asks if the ship that emerged is an enemy vessel. However, Worf isn't there anymore, and it's Tasha Yar.
Oh, what?
Also, Troy has disappeared.
Oh, yeah. Does she even make an appearance in this episode? I can't even remember when it returns back to normal.
Maybe? She has to, I'm sure. She's in the opening credits. Down in a different 10 forward, Guinan clears a table, and everyone is in uniform, and they all have the belts with like armaments on them. She straightens up and senses something isn't right, and that everything is changed around her. As the starship clears the rift, Yar confirms it is a Federation starship and tries to get the ship's registry. Riker notes the crew must have had a rough ride through the rift. Yar reads the ship's registry as NCC 1701C.
Bum, bum, bum.
What do you think C stands for? Is it giving?
Giving cuteness?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And this causes Picard and Riker to turn towards Yar in astonishment. And Yar finishes reading the name of the ship, and it's the C. And then that's when we get motherfucking opening credits, baby.
Hell yeah.
Big musical moment. Music on this episode is really good. Honestly, production value on this episode is so much better than Star Trek Generations.
Yeah, and they actually make distinct costumes for it too. It's just like
everyone's costume fits too. It's wild.
Yeah, though I did notice like there is sort of like a mix between early season. I think like they gave some of the older uniforms to the extras because
definitely they have the back zip up ones, the shitty ones,
and the stripes on on the tops, because I was you noticed
but then they put belts on them, so
they put belts. They
got a belts, baby.
They made individual belts. There's something more than you could say that was done in Generations. Like a feature length film.
So opening credits at 3:55, so 4 minutes in, kind of average for this series.
And I was wondering, now that you mentioned it, that Troy wasn't there. I'm wondering if it does seem like it is kind of like in the Mirror Universe where there are only humans on board the Enterprise. So it's like,
true.
So I'm wondering if they
are. Yeah, and we'll kind of get into that, like how history has changed and stuff here. So next we get a military log, combat date 43625.2. While investigating an unusual radiation anomaly the Enterprise has encountered, what could almost be called a ghost from its own past, the Enterprise C, the immediate predecessor to this battleship. And he calls the Enterprise a battleship.
Yeah.
Which is like immediately like setting a certain tone for this. And also he gave a military log, which we've never heard, I don't think, even when they were engaged in combat. I don't think the captain is given a military log, which is interesting. So on an altered bridge, Data reports that the sensors confirm that the other ship's hull and engine components are that of Enterprise C. When Wesley Crusher mentions that the Enterprise C was destroyed with all hands more than 20 years ago, Data corrects him, saying that the ship was presumed destroyed near Narandra 3, a Klingon outpost. Captain Picard wonders if the ship was adrift for all these years it's been missing, or perhaps maybe it traveled through the time rift. Data says that if time travel does turn out to be the proper theory, then the phenomenon will have they have encountered is a temporal rift, such as a Kerr loop in space. And Yar then reports that she is able to scan the interior of the ship, and she reports heavy damage within, but does get some life sign readings. Riker calls sickbay to prepare emergency teams and orders the transporter rooms ready. But Picard belays Riker's orders, reminding him that if the other ship has indeed traveled through time, they could be dealing with variables that might alter the flow of history. So, very good point. I like how this is like setting up rules of time travel and stuff like that early.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they know like any sort of influence they have could have a ripple effect throughout time, which, you know, as we see, that's the whole reason everything's changed in the first place.
Indeed. So
Hinge points.
yeah, we've been watching a lot of fucking time travel episodes recently, I feel. So
it just shows how like some, even just like a seeming inconsequential thing can have such a like effect on the entire history of things. You know, just like the entire history of the Federation is completely changed just by this one ship.
yeah.
And the actions they take.
So just then, the Enterprise C sends out an audio distress signal. Picard orders it put on the speakers. It's Captain Garrett from the Enterprise C saying they've been attacked by Romulan warships and require assistance. Also, that life support is failing and they've lost their warp drive.
We get there's the statue of Garrett that's in Picard season 3.
You're right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because I mean, yeah, she's known as the person who captained the Enterprise C.
Yep.
Yeah. So Riker mentions there was no records of Romulans ever attacking the Enterprise C, and Yar reports the voice message has terminated and they are now receiving only an automated signal. Picard orders a channel open and tells the Enterprise C that he is Captain Picard of a Federation starship. So he hesitates there. He tells Garrett and her crew to stand by for emergency teams. He tells Riker to assess the situation and attend to their wounded, and above all, to avoid all discussions of where and when they are. Riker says he will, and takes Yar with him for the away team. Just then, Crusher tells Picard that Starfleet monitor stations are detecting Klingon ships in the area and that they're on their way. And Picard orders Wesley Crusher to put the ship on battle alert condition yellow. So it's kind of immediate. It's clear at this point that they are in war with the Klingons, which is unfortunate. We love the Klingons.
We do love the Klingons.
We want to see them exist in peace with the Federation.
And it kind of explains Worf's absence.
Yeah, it certainly does. Enterprise C is absolutely fucked. The away team's aboard. The bridge and Dr. Crusher report the rest of the bridge crew are dead, and the captain is seriously fucked up. They find the captain nearly unconscious in her command chair, and Crusher and Riker tell Garrett that they are from a Federation starship and that they're there to assist. When Crusher tells Riker she must take Garrett back to the Enterprise, Garrett demands an explanation, but Riker simply tells her they are from a Federation starship that answered their distress signal and that they will answer all questions, but for now, they must get her healed in sickbay.
You know, one thing I think that was interesting is like they know that the ship disappeared by a Klingon outpost. Now it suddenly appeared, and they instantly like
assume it's time travel
instead of like, oh, maybe this ship was taken by Klingons and now it's being used as a sort of like Trojan horse type situation.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Too trusting.
Yeah, too trusting, but you know, I mean, I'm sure they read that there were human life signs on board.
Right. They could only detect single penis organisms. And they're like, oh, drat.
Oh, don't worry. Everyone has a single penis. But like, but yeah, just like there is no like, I mean, I think they'd probably do it for like time's sake, you know, just for like, you know, have the episode keep rolling, but you think there would be some sort of like hesitation that this could be a Klingon trap.
It could be.
Yeah.
So they're not being very hesitant here.
No, but it's fine.
This is still in like, I don't know, the more idyllic stages of TNG and Star Trek overall.
Yeah.
And it does go to say like later in this episode, fucking, you know, Guinan is like, this is a ship of peace, not a ship of war.
But war, you know, like Picard's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
So LaForge tells Riker the ship is really fucked up. Riker tells him if they can't stabilize life support, they will have to evacuate the entire ship. And LaForge says he can do it, but he'll have to go to engineering. So he calls damage control to engineering. Right then, Yar and Riker notice some rustling underneath some debris. They pull off the debris and discover another survivor, Lieutenant Richard Castillo, played by Shooter McGavin.
Shooter McGavin.
Kevin McDonald? Is that his name?
No, what is his name? I just know him as Shooter McGavin.
Something.
It is funny seeing him play like a good character because he's so good at just playing the villains all the time.
I mean, all the time. I was thinking about it like, has he been villain in that many things? I don't recall him like being a villain in much more than fucking Happy Gilmore.
Let's see.
So while you're looking that up, you can butt in whenever. I'll continue here.
Christopher McDonald.
There we go. That's his name. Picard arrives back on the bridge in time for a report from the away team. Riker reports that they've stabilized life support and LaForge is working on repairing the power couplings. He tells Picard there are 125 survivors aboard. Picard asks for ideas, and Riker says he'd hate to have to lose the ship. His Starfleet could certainly use another vessel, even if it is an old piece of shit. Picard agrees and cautions Riker that he can't stay in the area too long. He allows Riker 9 hours to get the Enterprise C underway to Starbase 105. If they're unable to do so, the survivors will be evacuated and the ship will be destroyed. Just then, Guinan comes in. She's like, yo, what's the fuck's up? And Picard's like, yo, what's up? And she's like, this is not the way it's supposed to be. Big commercial break music right here.
Yeah, I was actually having a discussion with my brother and my friend the other day about like Guinan's powers.
Guinan does like exist kind of through time.
Yeah.
The Elarian's got some shit going on.
Because we were kind of discussing just like how she's able to pose a threat to it was funny because I actually referenced this, to Q, and I actually referenced this episode like because I was just like, I don't know how she could. I mean,
she's got the Q boos,
and like I referenced this episode. I was like, and she's able to just like she's aware of a time shift. Like she's like she knows what the true timeline is, which is like it's funny that that there is a true timeline, but she's keenly aware that something's wrong in a timeline change, and because we were trying to figure out like what threat Elorians can pose to Qs, and so I was just like, I'm not sure
because they're like corporeal beings, right?
Yeah,
and so they can't exist on a plane like Q. I don't think, right? Or
they don't have any because my friend was just like, well, it's like Pat, maybe you can answer this. What's up with with Guinan's hand thing that she does at Q. The cat claws. It's so good. I love it. So I also kind of I guess want to pose this question to you. Like, what do you think it's about? Like, there's never any definitive answer of how they're able to.
I think Q like do have to play by like some rules of ethics. Like I think like when facing humans, they do have to maybe be in human form, or at least in like a manageable form to humans. Because we've never seen a Q become like, in fucking Eldritch Horror or anything,
No.
Elucidian monster of like mammoth proportion.
But I mean, they're able to just like change the rules of engagement, whatever they want, And
they are. But like at the same time, I feel like they do have at least some sort of like rules or ethics behind what they do, because we see they do have to live in like a controlled society that does play by rules, and they can die by each other's hand.
Yeah.
A Q can kill a Q.
Or randomly, like in Picard Season 3.
Shut up. You mean Picard Season 2? 2.
Oh, 2. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Picard Season 2. I'm sorry. Yeah.
3 was better.
Yeah. That had Guinan's able to summon a Q, or supposedly, and I was just curious about it because I was like, it was funny because when you said we were watching this episode, I was like, oh wow, I literally just referenced this the other day, but yeah, I mean, so we are able to see that Guinan is able to perceive timelines and timeline altercations. So. Yeah.
So in the observation lounge, Picard questions what Guinan's perceiving, and she tells him that things don't feel right at all. Picard says that everything is the same as it always has been. But Guinan says there should be families and children around, and Picard's like, "Are you crazy?" So Guinan tells Picard that the Enterprise isn't a ship of war; it's a ship of peace, and things just aren't right.
And there's families on board. Families.
Yeah, and she says the only way to restore things is to send the displaced Enterprise C back into its own time. Fucking Back to the Future. Going back in time to play the guitar so good that your dad comes inside of your mom.
Yeah, make sure you have to. If you play the guitar good enough, Guinan will get cream pied. Not sure how this works.
If you play the Vulcan harp loud enough.
Yeah, if you play the Vulcan harp enough, then someone's gonna get cream pied, and then you'll exist.
Right. So Picard arrives in sickbay to meet Captain Garrett, and he tells her that basically he thinks that the weapons fire from the Romulan attack might have created a temporal time rift that sent them back in time. And that maybe having a Klingon outpost not be destroyed and be saved by a Federation ship might have changed the tide of the war in the first place. Or maybe prevented the war from happening. Also, he tells her that she has traveled 22 years in the future, and she's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, she's like, "This is better. This sick bay is better than the ones on star bases."
Yeah. So Picard tells Garrett that history never recorded their last stand against the Romulans, and so like no one ever really knew what happened to them. He gives her the option of whether or not to tell her crew, and she's like, "Well, do you have any reason why they shouldn't know?" Great question. Would you let your crew know if that was your crew?
Yeah, I would think so. It's like, especially like given like, she knowingly, not a little bit of spoilers, but knowingly leads them into like to their death.
Yeah.
Where like he pretty much is asking them. But I mean, I feel like that's kind of like expected when serving on a Starfleet vessel. Which is also like which is funny because like this highlights the fact that the prime timeline Enterprise D has families on it, and they regularly get into all these like into battle, regularly go into battle and stuff. So it's just like putting children's lives into danger on a Starfleet that's responding to like anomalies and other situations where it could be blown up. So I feel like asking like a Starfleet officer, Starfleet personnel and stuff to do that, like that's the expectation. But also, but bringing a family on board, it's like those kids can't be like, well, I don't want to get blown up.
Yeah, their families got fucking disappeared though. So,
but typically, just like in the prime, even still like in the prime timeline, they're still getting into. They're fighting the Borg. Yeah, they're going into weird ass, space anomalies and shit like that.
I mean, they didn't ever mean to encounter the Borg or anything like that. No, like, but Q threw them far into the shit.
But they do typically get into situations where they need to go to red alert.
Right. Like I wonder what happened. Like in Best of Both Worlds, did they just keep all the families on board, or were they like, we got to evacuate before we go to the Battle of Wolf 359?
No, they're just like, all right, kids, buckle up.
Yeah. You're gonna see some fireworks today. Oh my God, they're all dead.
Oh my God,
they're all dead.
Sir, we lost the child
transport. Yeah.
The child center's been blown up. All the kids have been sucked out into space.
Not again.
Not again. Damn you, taking those toddlers. But yeah, it just kind of just highlights,
If Star Trek doesn't do enough of one thing, it's they don't murk toddlers.
They don't murk toddlers. There is no, the younglings type situation.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a child like die that I know of on Star Trek.
Well, besides like the Benjamin Button planet, but they're not really children. They just look like kids.
No, they're bad. They're evil.
Yeah.
So back aboard the Enterprise C, Castillo struggles with the news, Shooter McGavin struggles with the news that he is 22 years out of time. Mm-hmm. And he's obviously got the eyes for Yar over here. He keeps looking at her, and, I would too. That Denise Crosby be looking good.
He, looks at her, he's just, hitting on her. Mm-hmm. Saying, you know what?
Maybe you can...
I eat pieces of shit for breakfast.
And she's like, you eat shit for breakfast? And he goes... Yeah, lunch and dinner, 2 of you want me to.
You know what I fucking mean.
Yeah. You ever heard of a guy named Chuck Berry?
She is into it.
She's so into it, baby. So he wonders if his family might be dead, and Yar's like, that might not be the case, trying to comfort him. Castillo remarks that back before they went through the time rift, the Klingons were negotiating for peace, but things have changed. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Castillo's like, maybe you can fill me in on some of those things later. And she doesn't say shit.
No.
She just stares ahead.
Yeah.
So back on the Enterprise D for Data. Data tells Picard that the anomaly is likely symmetrical. Picard asks Data about what would happen if the Enterprise C were to return through the rift. Data tells him that they would emerge in the midst of battle at almost the exact instant they left. Mm-hmm. Picard asks if there's any chance of the ship surviving, and Data says, no, not really, they did.
They is dead.
Picard realizes that sending the Enterprise C and her crew back would be a death sentence. Mm-hmm. Having returned to the Enterprise, Yar tells Castillo that it was the first Galaxy-class battleship built by the Federation, and that the Enterprise can transport as many as 6,000 troops all at once. Damn. Which is 6,000 troops is a lot, brother.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense. But it seems, already you probably wouldn't want to engage Klingons on hand-to-hand combat anyway.
No, definitely not.
I mean, we see that. I think
I don't know. There's some fucking people Georgiou and fucking Burnham do pretty well against them until Georgiou gets eaten.
Yeah, and also in the episode where Jake Sisko is he's doing his war reporting.
Oh yeah.
And he just sees the horror
of war. Some
Klingons
suck, dude. Some Klingons are bad.
Yeah, that's true.
Fucking Quark beats the shit out of one and looking for Parmok in all the wrong places.
But that's also with being psychically controlled by Worf.
Listen, just because I have my butt plug in doesn't mean I'm not doing the work, all right? I'm playing the chess, okay? Mm-hmm. I'm playing the chess.
You would imagine is his there's skills is one thing, but also he couldn't physically overpower a Klingon. It's not like Worf can really transport that sort of strength too.
That's true. Well, I mean, it depends on what you are. Data could fuck up a Klingon easy.
Yeah, but but when Quark bests that Klingon in battle, mm-hmm. he's able to deflect the blows with all of his strength.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a low center of balance. He's pretty stocky.
That's true.
Yeah.
And
he's got that accountant build.
We know Ferengi are packing dong.
Oh, of course. So that's a even lower center of balance. It's like a fucking pendulum, like a grandfather clock hanging down there, baby.
It's what? How do Ferengi weigh so much? They're only 5 feet tall. Mm-hmm. So is their dick.
So Yar says she was lucky to get the Enterprise, and Castillo says he was too. They arrive at sickbay and brief Captain Garrett on the Enterprise's condition and its tactical state. When Garrett tells Castillo to concentrate on the ship's weapon system, Yar tells her that there are Klingon battleships in the area. Mm-hmm. Garrett sits up, asks Castillo why she wasn't informed, and then tells an intervening Beverly Crusher that she must resume her duties as captain. Crusher says no, but Garrett needs another 24 hours of rest. Garrett says the 24 hours might as well be 24 years. Mm. She's like, it's 22 years, all right?
Yeah. What's adding 2 more years? What's with that?
Yeah. I don't know. 2 years is a lot, brother.
Yeah.
If someone was, what would you give up, I don't know. No, that's a dumb question. Let's just keep going. I've got a lot more notes here. Guinan comes to Picard again and is like, hey, you got any more information? And he's like, no. And without proof, you can't keep coming over here and asking me what the fuck's going on psychically. I don't have any answers.
Yeah.
So Picard slams his fist on the table and tells Guinan that the Enterprise C crew is going to die moments after returning if it happens. Guinan tells Picard that she wishes she had more information, but she doesn't. She only has a very strong feeling that this is wrong. Picard then asks who decides which timeline is the right one, and Guinan says she does, which is kind of narcissistic, Guinan.
But still, it's just like, oh, do you want the timeline where you're at constant battle with Klingons, or the one where you get to be like, friendly spacefarers?
Or the one where you're going to be in constant battle with Borg.
Yeah, with the Borg, yeah.
Which do you prefer?
It'd be funny if they go back to the normal timeline and Guinan's like, this is wrong.
This is wrong. Whoops, sorry.
Oops, oh, jeez.
Can we bring them back?
Turns out there's multiple timelines that can be true.
So this isn't good enough for Picard, though. He will not allow 125 people to sacrifice their lives simply on a feeling. Saying
More than a feeling.
More than a feeling. 40 billion people, he says, have already been lost in this war.
Jesus.
And Guinan says this is a war that shouldn't be happening. She repeats that the only way to save those 40 billion is to sacrifice a small group of people. Now we're doing like the train meme here.
Yeah.
Where we're sacrificing a person or a group of people. What would you do in that case?
Well, I would definitely say, like, yeah, the C's got to go sacrifice themselves.
I'd stop the train, personally.
Yeah, you can stop the train.
I'm like a Mark Wahlberg type, where I would have stopped 9/11. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you know what? You're on a crazy train.
I.
Going off the rails on a crazy train.
Very true. There's no guarantee of success of this happening, though. Guinan tells Picard that in all the years he's known her, she's never forced herself on anyone or to take a stand based on whimsical triviality. She tells Picard that she's told him what he must do, and Picard only has to trust in her and base his decisions on her word, which is pretty strong, man.
Yeah, I mean, she is asking, just like, all right, well, you're because that, like, everyone is slightly different. Like, everyone seems to be more or less the same kind of person, except like they definitely seem more, later when they're in battle, like they definitely have taken on a more tactical type stance, like more. So they, for as long as like all they can remember in their professional lives, they've been working towards, like, they work on facts, they work on just like this, like, just all they know is battle.
Yeah.
So it's just like asking for this, like, for it to work on a hunch that because they just seem less inclined. That's something that's not addressed too much, really. I think they would seem less inclined to believe some sort of, like, what would seem like frivolity to them, just like a person's feelings that something's wrong,
right?
Because they're more tactical, they're more militaristic,
right? But this is Guinan. Apparently, even in this, like, history, like, she and Picard go way fucking back.
Yeah,
and he trusts her, like, on a deep psychic level almost, because she got some psychic shit going on. For sure,
some psychic shit. Like,
she got some psychic shit.
Not exactly sure.
Yeah,
all the psychic shit was going on. The powers seem very ill-defined for me.
Oh, she's not a psychic. She can just smell everything.
Yeah.
So, like, if that pussy stinks, she's like, I want to get over there. Push stank it. Push her.
Her powers are bar-based. They're all.
I've got the Q liquor. I've got the Romulan liquor. I've got the Klingon liquor. I've got the Elarian liquor. I've got the Andorian liquor. Everyone's got the Andorian liquor.
Everyone's got the liquor. Yeah, I can summon these. But yeah, if she's like, a quasi magical being that can, like, see through time, might as well just believe her.
Right. Do you think is, like, a magical bartender? Do you think she has, like, magical STDs? So every time I've gotten an STD, I'm pretty sure it's been from a bartender.
Is it a magic bartender specifically?
Always a magic bartender.
Yeah, I guess like what you really have to take from this is stop having sex with bartenders.
No.
Just a thought, you just have a thought there. But yeah, you know what? That's one thing we don't ever see Guinan engage in any sort of romance.
Yeah, she doesn't need to. She's out of time. She's in romance with her job. She loves bartending.
She loves bartending.
She's just focusing on her job right now.
We never even really see her take a drink of alcohol.
No, she doesn't.
Besides,
like
I guess like the pat where she summons the Q.
Right,
she takes a shot of the Q liquor. I think
the Q juice.
She takes a shot of the Q juice.
It's just a bunch of Q's cum.
But I'm not even sure.
Why have you summoned me with my cum again? Stop drinking it. It's got to be decades old by now. It's fermenting.
But she does have a lot to say about people's love lives. So
she does.
She's definitely been
around the block.
Been around the block. She knows her stuff because
she's had a whole block party, if you know what I mean.
She's had like, I'm assuming, thousands of years of experience. So
yeah, she's like a Highlander. She's taken so many lovers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or a hot Highlander. Wouldn't it suck to be like, because you become a Highlander the first time you die?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it suck to like die in a way that really like fucked up your face, and then like forever?
Or of old age, and then you got to be like old forever.
I'm just an old man with a sword.
Yeah, like what's his face comes and the goth and cuts your head off, and you're like, I'll fight you well.
No.
Oh, my bones are so brittle.
So Guinan goes back to 10 Forward and sees Yar there and is made real uneasy by her presence, and it's got like a fucking violins and shit, and makes it real apparent that she's like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah, I've never met you before.
Yeah, they have an awkward conversation about Yar ordering her food rations. Yar tells Castillo that it's the first time she's ever seen Guinan act like that. While Guinan goes to prepare their food, Yar and Castillo's conversation continues, with Castillo's head spinning a little due to the tactics that Tasha explained, which are much greater and weirder than he learned at the academy. And they're talking about what you do to the prostate. He's like, wait, you can use both hands?
Okay, draw me a diagram here. Okay, I'm going to take this diagram into the bathroom real quick.
The family bathroom, the one with a lock on it. So Yar tells him that he'll need it in the bathroom. Then the conversation heads towards more personal territory. Tasha asks what she should call him. And he's like, you mean pronouns? No, that doesn't happen. Now that they're past referring to each other by rank. Yar tells Castillo to call her Tasha, and Castillo says everyone except his mother, who calls him Richard, calls him Shooter McGavin. But then Yar tries calling him Castillo, but he's like, no, Shooter McGavin.
Is Castillo, is that what is that? Is that Italian?
It's either Italian or Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could be Latin X. Latin triple X, baby. Like Vin Diesel.
Oh, yeah, like Vin Diesel.
No. Yeah. Is he Latin? I don't know. I feel like he could be part Latin. Who knows? Latin triple X. That's my joke. Just then, the conversation is interrupted by Picard ordering all senior officers to his ready room. Yar and Guinan share another uncomfortable glance at each other. I think they want to be lesbians.
But also that like, okay, like the timeline's off. But this is the first that Guinan is. Did Guinan just jump from, like, because it seems like her body already has a sort of history. It
has a history, all right, baby.
But
her body count higher than Mount Rushmore. You know what I'm saying?
Damn. But like, it seems like she has had like a relationship with Tasha. Like her self in this timeline has already had an established relationship with Tasha.
Right. And now Tasha feels that way, but Guinan doesn't feel that way.
But it seems like she's just become aware in this moment, the time that the exact moment the timeline changed, that Guinan from the prime timeline has jumped into this timeline, and so because like. She never had any sort of inkling that things were off until this moment, it seems. Because she's never brought this up before to Picard or anyone else. And so is that how the timeline works? Like, or how it would work in sort of like...
I don't understand Guinan's time powers at all, man. All right? I don't understand her powers, what she's doing. Like, the Elarian, like, no one... Her race is not explained.
No.
At all.
Really.
Like, yeah, come on. Like the most information we get on them is like from Star Trek Generations, probably.
Yeah.
And it does not help.
Yeah.
It becomes more confusing, I'd say.
It does. Yeah. Like, okay, so they're these powerful beings, but they're also very enticed by a nexus that has like a false reality that they all really like.
Yeah.
Which seems like, if they had this sort of wisdom, and they would kind of reject that sort of false reality, personally, I'm just thinking.
Maybe.
But, because they seem like, because like they're so long lived, they seem like they would be adverse to that. They would see it as bullshit and not be taken by it as, as much as like, Soren is, he's addicted to it. And, like Guinan was able to reject it, but she said like, oh, it's so, but I want to return too. It's like,
Yeah, the Nexus seems pretty sick though.
Nexus seems sick.
It's like
living life with like cheat codes or something.
It's like living on a holodeck, basically.
Yeah. That's the thing.
That's
like,
really not that different,
no.
Except like you don't age, I think.
Yeah.
But you can die in the Nexus, like fucking Kirk does.
Like, yeah, Kirk dies outside of the Nexus.
Oh, does he? Oh, that's right. They die on the planet. Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Bummer. He should have died in the Nexus and stayed there.
Yeah, he should have. Or he should have just like remained in the Nexus. Why not?
Yeah. He would have been happier there, and we would have too. We could have had funny Nexus stories, like where he just goes on like adventures where he like big dicks everything. We could have like beta canon books written quote written by William Shatner, but actually ghost written by someone who can't write.
Kirk Nexus Nights.
Oh, I love it.
It would have been like Baywatch Nights, except like it's like
NE-XXX.
He would. Yeah, NE-XXX. Yeah,
Latin Nexus.
Oh my God. Yeah, he'd be running like a whole like street crew. He'd be in Vin Diesel's place.
Oh yeah.
Because technically he like Kirk was after the entire Fast and Furious franchise.
Yeah.
So there is a chance that he has seen them.
You're not wrong.
He has seen those films.
I think that was his inspiration to be a captain, not his dad. Yeah.
He is driving that car in the 2009 and
a muscle car.
He is driving a muscle car
that I'm sure was probably in one of the Fast and Furious movies.
Sabotage, and he's probably like, "I'm Paul Walker."
Yeah.
Sabotage.
Yeah, I'm Paul Walker. Yeah, fiery crash. So Picard tells everyone he's going to send everyone back in time and kill him. Everyone's like, really? LaForge presents the possibility of rearming the Enterprise C with modern weapons, but Picard says, nah, it'll alter the past. Riker asks if that isn't what they're already doing, but Picard says they're talking about restoring the past, which kind of makes sense, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
LaForge wonders how Guinan would know history has been altered if she's been altered along with it. Data suspects that possibly her species has a perception that goes beyond linear time, which I guess makes sense for her people.
Oh, yeah.
Picard is like, yeah, I don't understand her people at all, which is, wow. You're going to call them those people? Really, Picard? Whoa.
Hey,
I know. What is this? The roast of Whoopi Goldberg starring Ted Danson in blackface?
Yeah, I guess they are sort of like mirror universe racist.
Yeah. Let's see, where were we here? So Picard says he doesn't know much about her people, but if she is correct, a ship from the past has traveled through time, and there's no way to know what effect it might have on the present, and so they have to send them back. Someone's calling me. I'm going to fucking hang up. Please don't call me while I'm podcasting.
They should know better.
Yeah. Riker respectfully tells Picard he's asking 125 people to die a meaningless death. Data disagrees that it would absolutely not be meaningless, pointing out that since the Klingons regard honor above all else, that the crew of the Enterprise C dying in a fight for the survival of a Klingon outpost might actually be a meaningful act of honor to the Klingon Empire and make, war possibly not happen in the first place.
Data's not wrong.
Yeah, and Picard agrees with this. Having considered all the alternatives, Picard decides to go with Guinan's recommendation and emphatically dismisses everyone else, all dissenting opinions. This is my final say, shut the fuck up.
That does rock that he's just like, he does just listen to Guinan, just Guinan has a hunch, and he's just like, you know what? You're right.
You know, and it's, I gotta say, it's probably the first time in a Star Trek series where a white guy has trusted a black woman just based on nothing but her word.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, he just takes her at her word. Like, all
Yeah.
right,
Yeah. Which, you know what?
more power to him.
Bravo.
Bravo.
I'm gonna give that one a put it on the board, baby. We like that.
What else I think, like, I'm not sure if it happened yet, where, you know, Picard kind of reveals that the Federation's in a very bad place right now.
Oh yeah, because he kind of revealed it earlier when they said they can't spare any ships, and like even getting the Enterprise C would be super helpful to them.
Yeah, and it's like they have 6 months tops.
Yeah. I'd like 6 months tops.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Ooh.
Do you know what I mean?
Ooh.
Do you know what I mean?
I hope you want a 6 month top.
I want to top someone for 6 months in a row.
Oh, okay, got you.
I want a bottom for 6 months. I want a bottom. I don't want two bottom.
Okay. So no switch.
No, I don't really switch.
Yeah.
This has been the Britain Horny Hour. Minute. This whole thing is the Britain Horny Hour.
Yeah, that should really be the name of the podcast.
Let's get back to the Britain Horny Hour. So preoccupied with a comment made by LaForge and Crusher about whether they'll even be alive in an alternate timeline is the Depart the Ready room, Yar joins Data in the Bridges 4 turbo lift. Yar says she's worried what will happen to Castillo, or Shooter McGavin as we know him. Data points out that if history is restored, they will have no memory of these events, which disturbs Yar even more. She doesn't know a little thing though. The thing or two or three are 4 or 666.
Or 666.
She gonna die soon.
She's 5'5", but she's 6'6".
She's 5'5". I'm 6'6". That's what the song's about. Height differences are great.
Yeah.
You ever fucked someone 3 feet or shorter?
No.
You ever fuck someone 7 feet or taller?
No, I'm not. I'm sorry.
Well, looks like you haven't gotten the standard deviations, my friend.
Found those outliers of human height.
Yeah.
Like a very small person or a giant.
I'm fucking my way through the Guinness Book.
Every time there's like a new person that beats the new height, you know, in the Guinness Book of World Records, like you just like send them a DM.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I see you're tall. Can I hit it?
And then you're like, I see you're 2 feet tall. What's going
Can
on?
I hit it? It'll make it look big.
So the Enterprise C crew continues repairs, and Garrett and Picard discuss possibilities of the ship either staying or returning and the probability of Guinan's accuracy. Garrett asks if Picard trusts Guinan. Picard answers that he learned long ago to trust his old friend's wisdom. So it's about his friend here. Is it? Or is it about race?
I think the Federation's also extremely desperate
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah, do you think he's like, yeah, I mean, they are desperate. And do you
Yeah.
think he's like, well, maybe because what the humans have done isn't working. Maybe Elarians, maybe their way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I said earlier, like, oh, yeah, there's no aliens on board, but except for Guinan.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I guess, like, yeah, because fucking we don't have the half Betazoid either.
Yeah, there's no... Because when you mentioned that there was no Troy, I'm like, oh, yeah, I didn't even notice that she wasn't in this.
Yeah.
Because then I start thinking, like, oh, yeah, there's no... Like, because, you know, in, like, the Mirror universe, that premise is, like, humans are you know, have sort of, like, a racial fascism.
Yeah.
Where they think they're superior than all the alien races and stuff. And I was just, like, wondering, like, oh, that's sort of what's happening now? Or is, like... the other alien races align themselves with the Klingons and the destruction of the Federation.
No.
But who knows?
Who knows?
But we have but now, yeah. Oh, yeah, I totally forgot. There's an Elorian aboard.
Yeah. Yeah. So Picard offers to arrange a private chat between Garrett and Guinan, and she's like, no. Garrett knows there's no chance for survival and asks if the Enterprise D can return with them, and Picard says no.
Yeah.
So Garrett's like, okay, I accept it. saying that Picard doesn't belong in her time any more than she belongs in Picard's. Which is kind of correct, you know? It sucks, but fucking, you know, you came back and fucked shit up. Yeah. Sorry, you got to go back.
It is interesting, like, the fact that, like, 4 billion people have died in this war, but, like, all of the people on the Enterprise are still alive.
That is true. Well, I mean,
like,
I mean, not everybody. Well, I mean, yeah, all the aliens are gone, but
obviously, like, 22 years ago, Picard was enlisted in Starfleet. Like, he was a young man.
Yeah.
Like, he was, he's like, canonically right now he's what, like 60 years old or something.
Yeah, and like Riker would have grown up while the Klingon wars were happening. So yeah, it is weird. The same command structure and everything exists.
Yeah, there's no difference. Like no one else would, like with the other with their other appointments, they weren't killed or anything and firefights, but everyone. But I mean, it does it for like I think also just for like. Make sure you follow along. You only have an hour to tell a story, so that makes sense. But it's just interesting.
Yeah, and honestly, this would have made a better 2-parter or a movie. I think this would have been a great movie.
Yeah, it would have made an amazing 2-parter.
They should have made this instead of fucking Generations. I think.
Yeah, that would have been but I think as for like the first TNG movie, it would have been like too difficult to pull off like an alternate universe type story.
I don't know. I think it would have been sick as fuck.
I mean, it would have been sick for us, but it's just like. But not everyone's watches TNG, so it's just like for like the first outing for.
But
a film.
A lot of people were watching TNG at that time.
That's true.
It was a big ass show, brother.
Yeah, just like I mean, maybe for a second Star Trek film, have like the alternate universe type thing or TNG film. But I would have loved it. Yeah, I'd love to have it like as the premise for a film.
Yeah. So Picard tells Garrett that the war is going poorly for them, and they only have about 6 months left, as you said. But sending them back in time might change everything. So Garrett tells Castillo to inform the crew that they will return to their own time. She promises Picard that the Romulans will get a good fight and that history will remember their actions. Picard tells Garrett he knows that they will. Picard beams back to the Enterprise D, and Yar and Castillo say their goodbyes, but they are interrupted by an attack from a Klingon bird of prey on a scouting mission. Yar mans the tactical station quickly and prepares to fight the Klingons. Garrett contacts the Enterprise D and asks if Picard made it safely back, and Riker acknowledges that he did. Despite fire from the D, the bird of prey scores some crucial hits on the C, causing a panel near Garrett to explode, sending her to the ground. The bird of prey disappears under a cloak, and Picard hails Garrett and asks for a damage report, but there's no response. Dun, 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 dun. After a second hail, Yar contacts Picard and reports that Captain Garrett is fucking dead, murked, gone. Shit.
I would also say, I think in this is an instance where you really get to see like how like Federation technology has evolved differently, being that they were at constant war instead of like doing exploration. You can see like they developed like personal force fields for inside the ship. Yeah. So like exploding panels don't hurt people.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah. It's just like you think, especially considering that happens so much on like the regular ship, but in this alternate universe Enterprise, like they have like personal force fields that appear over exploding panels, so no one gets rained in debris and gets killed. Yeah,
and it's interesting some of the things that almost make sense in this alternate universe that they like never bring back in Star Trek like at all.
Yeah. Even in like the later seasons of Star Trek and stuff, especially like Deep Space Nine or something, especially when they're having the Dominion War, like they still don't have like the personal force fields around exploding circuitry.
I mean, the technology peaked in TAS, the animated series, when they had the force field belts.
Yeah, and they just forgot about that technology.
It sucks. So, fucking Garrett's dead. Captain Garrett's dead. So, Shooter McGavin comes in. He's like, I can do this. And Picard's like, can you? And he's like, yeah, sure, why not?
His voice breaks. Yes, I can.
Please. I got people who'd like to do their jobs. So Picard says, okay, sure, do it. Why not?
Why not? Who cares?
Fuck it.
I've lost interest in this already.
I don't give a fuck anymore. So Yar takes Shooter McGavin to the transporter room where they bid each other farewell. And after joking about how they seem to have all the time one can afford to have, share, a tender kiss between one another. Ooh. And she's like, your breath tastes like shit. And he's like, yeah, I had it for breakfast. Got him.
I do like how, like, at one point he's just like, you know what? You return back to your time and you see a man in his late 50s giving you an eye. Just go up and talk to him or something. It's like, ew.
Yeah. So he leaves, and Yar goes to 10-4 to talk to Guinan about her fate. Guinan says she doesn't have alternate biographies of the crew, but Yar says there's something to the way Guinan looks at her recently, and that they've known each other for too long to have these secrets. Guinan finally reveals that she thinks that Yar isn't meant to be.
She's like, I actually don't know you at all, bitch.
Yeah, she's like, I think you're supposed to be dead.
Yeah.
So Yar goes to meet Picard in his ready room and asks for a transfer to the Enterprise C, which is in need of a tactical officer. Picard asks why, and she says they need one, but Picard says they need her here. Yar then tells him she's not supposed to be there and she's supposed to be dead. Picard allows Tasha to sit and is also disturbed that Guinan felt it necessary to give Tasha Yar that information, but Yar responds she wanted to know. Would you want to know if you were supposed to, like, if you were, like, going to disappear from history in, like, an instant?
Yeah. You know what? I think it would be, I
think it'd be terrifying. I wouldn't want to know. I'd want to disappear from history in an instant.
That's true. Yeah, I guess, like, you would go, but that's a thing, like, you know, it's one of those confusing things about time travel, because you would believe that the moment that ship went back in time, Tasha, you would disappear, because the mere fact of the ship going back would mean that that she wouldn't have existed anyway. So, you know, you kind of think it's like one of those things that make your brain hurt when you think about time travel, because it's like, because the moment that the time goes back through and gets destroyed, like the moment they went on the other end, Tasha Yar would have been completely disappeared, because like there would have been no Tasha Yar to go back.
Yeah. So she's out of time no matter what. I mean,
so it's like they went back and then like
it's all kind of time paradox.
Yeah. So like the moment they went back, she would have never given birth to Sela.
True.
So like, you know, because like
or the Enterprise Sela.
The Enterprise Sela.
Got him.
So yeah, like the thing going back, like she would disappear completely. The timeline would be restored, and so then like an alternate universe, Tasha Yar would not have been there. So I don't know, just kind of think, you know, but you know, it's like time travel has like the plot armor around it, where it's just like, yeah of course,
why not?
Why not?
So aboard the sea, Shooter McGavin is making final preparations just as Tasha Yar reports to duty. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I totally forgot. Picard lets Yar go on the sea. He's like, yeah, you don't belong here. Fucking get out of here.
Yeah, you're starting to stink up the place.
Shooter McGavin tells her that he doesn't want her aboard, but Yar dares him to find someone in his crew better suited than her to do the job. He knows she's right and welcomes Yar aboard the sea. Starting to step away from her, he orders her to take her station. Yar does so, and Shooter McGavin moves over and sits at the captain's chair. Military log supplemental.
You think he wouldn't have just like taken the chance to hit it?
Oh yeah,
he's like, we are going to
meet me in my ready room now, pronto.
Like, we are going to die.
Yeah,
so.
That's an order. Like someone else can take over. Doesn't matter.
Before we go into the time rift,
computer autopilot.
Yeah, we're all going to die here, so why not?
Military log supplemental. Lieutenant Tasha Yar has transferred to the Enterprise C, where she has taken over tactical duties. Meanwhile, our long-range scanners have picked up Klingon battle cruisers on an intercept course. Wesley reports 3 Kevork-class battle cruisers.
Kevorkian.
Jack Kevorkian. Yeah, that's what they call him. Dr. Death, baby. So they 3 Klingon battle cruisers on their way towards the Enterprise D. Picard notes the Klingons don't even bother to cloak themselves. Riker is surprised at this audacity after the pasting they apparently gave the Klingons during the recent battle of Archer 4. I'm sure referencing Captain Archer there.
Yeah.
Picard nods and then addresses the crew in the ship's intercom. Attention all hands, as you may know, we could outrun the Klingon vessels, but we must protect the Enterprise C until she enters the temporal rift. And we must succeed. Let us make sure history never forgets the name Enterprise. Picard out. And this is like a pretty famous Picard speech, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Like he's very good at like rousing speeches. It's kind of which is kind of funny, just like watching him like deliver these like, just like he has such gravitas, and he's able to deliver these speeches that are inspiring. And then you look at Picard's, in the Picard series when he just becomes a rambling mess. He becomes a rambling, weepy mess, and it's just like,
Q, help! Everything's a gender now.
Everything's stardust. And it's just like, what are you talking about, you rambling old fool? And it's just like, then you don't really get anything. But yeah, just him just like giving like and we will make people remember the name Enterprise. And you're just like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
And we will remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans.
Left side, strong side.
It's like, damn, he can deliver a speech.
He can definitely deliver a speech. He's got that fucking voice, buddy.
Yeah. That
fucking voice. So, long story short, the Enterprise C gets through the rift. We don't need to go over this battle.
In the slowest way possible.
That's why I'm skipping this, is because it's just like a Klingon battle. And like, it's weird because like this episode is super well paced right up until this point. It kind of falls apart for a second here, but it gets back.
Yeah, but I thought it was funny how it was just like took it like 2 minutes to go through this rift. I'm like, why is it moving so slow?
Yeah, it's so slow. Well, because their warp core is destroyed, so they're going at like impulse, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah. So the Enterprise D though is now facing and being blown up. So Picard orders all remaining power to defensive systems. Data reports power couplings have been severed in the main phaser banks and cannot be bypassed. The Enterprise is hit again, and Riker is killed when part of the tactical console explodes. We can't have Riker killed, so fuck this episode.
Yeah. Start punching drywall. You're like, Riker!
Suddenly, the Klingons signal demanding that Enterprise surrender to them. And this is one of the best, cockiest lines Picard ever has. He goes, "That'll be the day." And leaps over a rail, trying to fire the phasers himself. After several tries, the phasers fire on one of the Klingon ships, who respond by continually firing on the Enterprise. Picard continues trying to fire as the bridge becomes engulfed in flames. And this is the best action Picard we ever get.
Yes.
So much better than any of the TNG films.
God, it's believable action Picard, too.
It's like he has this snarkiness to him, and it's so much better.
Yeah.
So the Klingon ships relentlessly batter the Enterprise D. As the ship is mere seconds away from being destroyed, the C gets through the rift. Boom.
Boom.
Timeline is restored, and Picard is standing on the bridge just as he was before the divergence, asking for a report. Worf, now back, gives its sensor readings. Data reports the anomaly is closing in on itself. Picard orders a Class 1 probe for it and his anus. He orders Wesley to set a course for Archer 4, referencing Archer 4 again there. Picard and Riker are surprised to hear Guinan on the intercom, who is asking if everything's all right. He tells Guinan everything is fine and asks if there's anything wrong. Over in 10 forward, Guinan says no, there's not anything wrong, and she seems happy. And then she sits at a table with LaForge and asks, "Hey, Geordi, tell me about Tasha Yar." End of episode.
Boom.
Bing, bang, boom, baby.
I do like how like anyone can just reach the bridge at any moment.
Yeah.
like you never see like any of the kids on board like prank call the bridge.
I mean, Wesley, I think, is constantly prank calling the bridge.
Oh yeah, Wesley did, and yeah, that did piss off Picard a couple times.
Yeah.
He's just like,
Wesley's a little snot.
Yeah, it is funny though. But it does seem like they just go by an honor system. That's why it's just like they are surprised like Guinan's calling in the first place. Like, and they're not questioning like, how did you get this number? How were you able to?
Oh, we've got a call on the intercom. Oh, it's from the bartender. Put her on quickly, quickly.
Yeah.
It's urgent. Do you have my Pappy Van Winkle?
But yeah, they're not like, this is bizarre, but they're like, oh yeah, of course she can call, but you know, she just doesn't, because there's never any reason. But
so what do you think about this episode?
I love this episode.
Yeah, me too.
Like I love like alternate universe, any kind of version of episodes.
Yeah, and this is like technically a time travel episode, but I feel like it's more of an alternate universe episode. And it does it super well. It does it so much better than like a mirror universe because it has that time travel element, and because it's very well thought out.
Yes.
Like I feel like the time travel is pretty well thought out, except for maybe Tasha Yar's being there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like, well, I guess you never encountered armies,
and
but
like everyone else being there,
but
like
the
in the same
fact that she
positions.
didn't disappear moment after going through the rift, I thought was weird.
Right.
It's kind of it just kind of blows your mind how time travel works sometimes. It's like if you try to think about how it would actually function.
Yeah,
But,
it's like watching Primer.
Yeah.
Or like think
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yeah, or jerking off to your brother's photo as he disappears.
Yeah, that's true. Getting your dad to cream pie your mom
by playing the guitar real good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like the way time travel works is kind of messy.
I know you're not gonna like this cream pie, but your kids are gonna love it.
Yeah, but like no, I like it. I like how they imagine because it's very subtle changes, but very also very just like distinct, where it's just like how like the Federation would shift and over like several years of just like over a couple decades of dealing with this new threat, like how would it have to change to deal with with a decades long war.
And it changes, but like in noticeable but subtle ways, I'd say.
Yeah, like there's no like they're all basically like the same person. They're not like there's not a lot of because like a lot of them were alive like when the sea went through, like they're all in their 30s 40s, so like they're basically all kind of like the same people, just made some different choices along the way, and dealing with this new more military minded Federation. But yeah, I liked it a lot, but one thing I didn't understand why a more battle ready type ship would be so dark, unless it's just trying to set the tone for just
right. Also, one thing I think is interesting that it lets us know is like kind of about the uniforms, in that we know that they basically have like the Enterprise C same style uniforms for like I don't know 60 years, 50 years.
Yeah, the maroon monster.
Yeah, which I fucking love those uniforms. Not gonna lie.
They're awesome.
Yeah, a lot of people hate them, but I think they're great.
Yeah, they're good. Like, and it is kind of a show. Like, like the uniforms they have in this alternate timeline are kind of similar almost, where they have like that sort of like thing down the chest. And a belt.
I think it'd be cool if they were wearing like bondage harnesses, and they all like like Riker has like a daddy harness on, and then Data obviously has like a baby cub harness on, a wolf, and maybe a wolf mask.
Oh yeah, he's wearing that puppy mask.
I
can see Data wearing the puppy mask.
Oh, Data's such a puppy. Data, if anyone's a furry on board or a puppy into puppy play, is definitely Data. Yeah,
I can see that.
It's like, I would like to know what it is to be human, but I would like to know more what it is to be a bad little puppy slut.
He has violin club and then immediately goes to furry club. He's just like,
it's in the same room at the same time, buddy. Let me tell you, those band kids.
Oh yeah.
And the furry kids, that fucking Venn diagram, baby.
Yeah, the first hour is dedicated to violin, and then are like, all right, everyone, bring out your fursuits.
Yeah, they all just have bass cases, and they just put a violin and a fursuit in there.
Yeah. Just like there's enough room for both.
Yeah.
Some people are just already wearing like the bottom halves of their costume, so they can just seamlessly just go right into furry club immediately. Just like put the rest on.
Yeah. So I think this episode has a lot of interesting things to say about hinge points.
Yeah. Because it's very similar to the episode we reviewed last week.
Past tense.
Past tense. Yeah.
Yeah, from DS9, where it does rely on an absolute hinge point, and where history really fundamentally changes, and it must be rectified in order for that hinge point to actually happen.
Yeah.
And the idea, I guess, and the value it extrapolates out of there is that things can change on a dime. And, like, one direct action can change a lot of material change, as long as it's, like, fucking meaningful. And this is a meaningful thing, apparently, to the Klingons, and to where it, like, prevents them from ever entering a war with the Federation.
And just, like, something that seems, just, like, requiring the Enterprise C to go and sacrifice themselves seems like a brutal action, but It's for the greater good.
But it goes back to something we've heard in Star Trek many times before. The needs of the many, or the needs of the few, are outweighed by the needs of the many.
Yeah.
And
but like in that in the Wrath of Khan, where that's said, it shows like no. Like
it's still all about Kirk, baby.
It's still all about Kirk.
It's all about his needs, baby.
This is really like showing that, where it's just like the noble sacrifice that's required of Federation officers in order to for the greater good and to maintain the utopia which they live.
The order.
Yeah. But yeah, I would have one thing that I would say is I would have liked if some people had some more battle scars. That would have been cool.
That would have been cool if Riker had a big fucking scar down his cheek or something,
or like a eye patch.
Oh, that'd be eye patch Riker. Yeah. Eye patch Riker rules. Hell yeah.
I think people would be super horny for eye patch Riker.
They would. 100% they would. I feel like he's worn an eye patch in something, hasn't he?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see, if there was an eye patch, or some people, it shows, because that's one thing, that also, is a product of warfare, is this, a greater advancement in just, replacement limbs and just, medical technology. So, if someone could have had, a robot arm or something.
Yeah, it's interesting they're still in the Enterprise that's not really outfitted with anything fundamentally different, I don't think.
Yeah. The design is the
being
same.
that they've been at war for 20 years. And I think the Enterprise was newly commissioned when or no, was it the Enterprise D? No, I don't think it was when Picard got it. I don't know.
No, can't remember.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that it still has the design of a ship that's meant for families to live on. It's it doesn't have a more technical type look to it. I mean, but it's just how in space, you don't really need to worry about stuff like aerodynamics or anything. So it's just it can literally look like anything.
Yeah,
but
it could look like a Borg cube.
It could look like a Borg cube. Yeah. And so you have to take that kind of consideration into it. So yeah, but it still has that very friendly look of the Enterprise D, because it's the same ship. But yeah, it's just funny that it's now a ship of war, but it still looks all friendly and plump and or fat, as that people call it in season 3.
Fat as a Christmas ham, baby.
Fat as a Christmas ham.
Yeah. This is a great episode.
Yeah,
this is one of the best of season 3, besides maybe Best of Both Worlds. Might be my favorite on here.
Definitely be on a list of must-watch TNG episodes.
I'd say it's maybe in the top 10 of must-watch TNG episodes.
If you were to recommend, if someone was curious about watching core TNG episodes, and this would definitely be on the list.
Core's not in this one. He's in DS9.
But I just mean very, very consequential episodes that are just that you want that really get the sense of what Star Trek is. You would definitely recommend. This would be definitely one of the recommendations.
Hell yeah. Well, I think that might be a good place for us to leave it.
I think so.
I think you should definitely go and check this episode out. It's one of the ones that we'd both emphatically recommend.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 big thumbs up your butt.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks for hanging with us, Voyagers. It's been real.
Yeah. All right. See you later, soy boys, girls, and really beans. Hang dong and shocker. Soy, 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 soy. Soy, 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 soy. Soy, 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 soy. ZYXWUT.
The soy is here to be. You are soy, and soy is here, and we are without one each other. You are me, and I am you, and we are 1, and 2 is 2, and 3 is for, but anymore I'm dying, 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 dying.
Time to die. As I said, is that a bet?